everyone, I'm Miss Mary Beth. I'm the Youth Services Librarian at Ingalls Memorial Library here in Ringe. And today is Fun Friday, which is my series where I show you guys how to make a bunch of how-to videos of how to make recipes or arts and crafts or teach you guys all something super fun. So today for Fun Friday, I'm going to make a peanut butter bread recipe. And this recipe is really easy because it doesn't use that many ingredients. And it's all ingredients that you probably have in your house. None of them are super complicated. It uses flour and sugar and salt, baking powder, peanut butter, and milk. And I picked this recipe because I really love peanut butter. Do you love peanut butter? Then this bread is for you. It's pretty good for a breakfast bread, I think. So the way you make it is really simple. It's 2 cups of flour. So far I put 1 cup of flour in my mixing bowl, but I'm going to put flour in this other cup measure, and I'm going to use my knife and smooth it out. That way it's exactly a cup. So now there's 2 cups of flour in my mixing bowl. Get that out of the way. And then I use 4 teaspoons of baking powder, which is kind of a lot of teaspoons of baking powder, but that's what it calls for. So here's my baking powder, and here's my teaspoon measure. So I'm going to do 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 teaspoons. And then I'm going to put in 1/4 cup of sugar. So for that, I'll use my glass cup measure. I'll just kind of shake it. Ooh, that was too much. 1/4 cup, just a little bit more. Does that look? Does that look like a 1/4 cup? That looks pretty good. So 1/4 cup of sugar into the bowl. And then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So for that, I'm going to take this teaspoon measure that I can adjust. I slide this up and down and it adjusts it. So I'm going to use 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Put that in my bowl. And that's what I do so far for all of the dry ingredients. So I have my flour in my bowl, my sugar, my baking soda, and my salt. And I just stir those a little bit just to kind of make sure they're all mixed up pretty well. And then the 2 wet ingredients go in, so the milk and the peanut butter. So for the milk, it's 1 1/3 cups of milk. This is my big milk. And I'm going to use my glass cup measure, that way I can see. So I'm going to fill that. Whoop. Pour a little back in so I know it's accurate. How does that look? I think it looks pretty good. It looks like it's a cup. So I'm going to pour in 1 cup. And then I'm going to put in 1/3 of a cup. Put that up to the line. And then I'm going to put my peanut butter in. And in this part, you can get pretty flexible because the recipe calls for peanut butter, but you can use chunky peanut butter or smooth. Or if you have other things that are kind of like a peanut butter consistency, you could try using something like Nutella if you like hazelnut and chocolate. You can use, this is some honey butter. Someone I heard of who made this recipe used cookie butter, which is pretty delicious if you want a more sweet bread. You could also make it and put in chocolate chips or butterscotch chips or anything you want it to make it a little bit more sweet if you're more of a fan of the sweet bread. So I already measured out my 1/2 cup of peanut butter, chunky peanut butter. I'm going to scoop it all in. Take it out, scoop it in. Once I got it in, I'm just going to stir by hand. And usually breads are kind of hard because you need yeast, and then you have to wait for that to rise. I know a lot of people are making sourdough, but this bread is really, really easy because you just take all of the ingredients and you just stir them by hand. You don't even need a mixer. You just stir them all together, and it forms a bread-like consistency pretty quickly. I'll show you when I'm all done mixing. And I made this before, so I know it's good, and I like to have it at breakfast with a banana. You can put some peanut butter on it if you don't already. It has a good peanut butter flavor, but it's not super overpowering. But you could also add Nutella or just butter. My sister made it, and she really liked it with just butter on it. So you can kind of do whatever you want. You can experiment with it. So you can tell it's getting a little hard to stir, but it's formed into a dough very, very quickly, didn't it? That wasn't even a lot of stirring. So once it's all in a good dough consistency, I put it in my loaf pan right here. So I just scoop it out, scrape it into the loaf pan. It's a little sticky. Plop it in. Scoop some more. Try and get all the dough, because there's a lot in here. It's pretty sticky. Get it off the sides of the bowl. Once I think it's all in, kind of just spread it out a little so it's kind of even. That looks pretty good. So here's my loaf. Does it look ready? It's not baked yet, but it looks ready to go. And then I just put it in my oven and I bake it at 325 degrees for 1 hour. And then it'll come out and it'll be a fresh loaf of peanut butter bread. So if you decide you do want to make the peanut butter bread, I'll attach the recipe and you can make it at home. It's pretty fun and super easy. Thanks for watching this Fun Friday. Have a fun weekend.